Hello and welcome to HashRocket World Headquarters here in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. I'm Paul Elliott, and this is the first installment of the Ask a Rocketeer video series where people can email in their questions and we'll go around and talk to some Rocketeers and get you some answers. This week's question comes from Andy Pike, and he wants to know, do we rspec test our views or rely on cukes over the top? What balance of test and implementation is best and gives the most value? Well, I can speak to that a little bit. We don't do view tests at all. We do a lot of model tests. We have very heavy model test coverage. We do integration testing typically with rspec and Capybara. So the new projects don't use Cucumber at all. As far as the code to test ratio, we usually have about 2 to 3 lines of test code per line of implementation code. So you got a lot more tests than you have implementations. Now we can walk around, I guess, and talk to some folks and get their input on this topic as well. So let's go on the hunt for a Rocketeer who's not too busy. Excuse us.
Sneaky.
This is Stephen Caudle, and Stephen, tell us a little bit about the testing setup for the project you're working on now.
We're using a library called unencumbered, the given when then style of describing scenarios for our integration specs. Everything's pretty much integration spec driven with a lot of functional model tests for most everything else. So yeah, I mean the driver is kind of outside in development where we assert that certain things should look a certain way depending on a user, what their role is and what the expected state of the application is. And then we drive everything from the UI layer backward into the rest of the application and kind of figure out what model methods we need depending on what the UI requires. I really am digging the outside-in approach to doing development, and everything's definitely very heavily integration driven.
Who are we going to pick on next? Let's go into the cave and talk to Larkin Tiger. I know they're busy working on a project. They're a little grumpy today, but I'm sure they'll be down with talking to us. Here we are. This is the back room, or the cave as we call it. We just recently had this window installed, so it's not so much of a cave anymore.
What do you want?
We are talking about integration testing, just general how we test our projects here. So if you guys would give us a quick overview on the testing setup for the project that you're working on.
Sure. Right now we're working on a project called Blink, and basically we've got all rspec integrations and have that using Capybara to drive the web browser, and it's actually very speedy now that we're using Spectre, spreading it out over multiple machines.
So I hope that answers your question, and great. Keep the questions coming in. Email us, send us anything, tweet at us, anything that you want the Rocketeers to explain. All right.